So good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by the band Midas Fall, and they're a band from Scotland, and they play like a really interesting blend of progressive rock with electronica and alternative. And they have a new album coming out in March 8th that is pretty awesome. I already heard it. And I thought I was just going to interview Liz, but I have the whole band. So first of all, thank you guys for making it today. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. How are you, Hector?
I'm very good. So tell us your name and what you do in the band.
Yeah. So I am Liz. I am the singer, and I also play guitar in the band.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the videos. Were pretty cool. And Rowan started the interview very well by drinking. So that's a very good sign.
And the cat featured as well.
Yes, but Rowan, you're on mute.
Yes.
Yeah, right, sorry.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, the beer's featuring. The beer and the cat.
Yeah, so Rowan, what do you do in the band?
I play guitar, but like, for recording, we all have a bash at everything, really, that goes on to the recorded project. And live, guitar, drums, wee bit, and occasionally, very occasionally, every now and again, we'll chuck a keyboard in if we can be arsed. But yeah, and it comes down to logistics too. So we all play a bit of everything, but my main instrument is guitar.
I mean, I made it way more simple than that, Rowan.
You did, but then it's like, well,
concise.
You do lots of other things as well. You do a wee bit of drums. Now and again.
I do. For recording, we play a bit of everything. I mostly do all the sound engineering stuff and the recording aspect as well.
Yeah, that's what it said next to your name on the promo. There was like 5 different things. And Michael, I think you played the bass, right?
Yes, on stage you will find me playing bass and occasionally hitting a floor tom. And yes, on the album, same as Rowan, we all kind of did a little bit of everything. So,
but Michael's mostly responsible for the drums on the album, I'd say.
Yes. Sorry, you go, Hector.
No, that's great. That's great that he is also in charge of the drums. So I actually I hadn't listened to the band until I got the promo, but I got the promo and I listened to it and I went to listen to your earlier stuff. I'm like, wow, this band is great. Like I really like I would describe this music as, a lot of music, like if they say, oh, we're the heaviest thing, like there's heavy and like blast beats, but this is emotionally heavy music. I think like you need a Kleenex.
That's the idea.
When you're listening to this album, I'm like, oh, it's so good. Right now, there's 3 singles out for people who haven't seen the singles. Plus, last Friday, you premiered the video for I Am Wrong, which great video. And you got a performance artist that I didn't know of called, I think it's Amanda.
Amber.
Yeah. Amber. And that music video is great because she's doing all the performance art, and the song lyrically is so potent. She says, I am wrong, something like I am ordinary. I'm like, wow. The lyrics here are very, like, that's why I say heavy emotional. So I think if we're gonna talk about the music, we gotta talk about the visuals, because the visuals, both for that new video, I'm Wrong, but for Monsters, which was the first single that I heard from the album, are great. And the music and the subject matter of that song, correct me if I interpret it wrong, but it seems like it's all about dealings with your own monsters, your own like issues and traumas, and like facing them head on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wrote that song in COVID. It was kind of like an improvised piece because I was kind of struggling at the time, having panic attacks, and that kind of guided me through a panic attack. So it was kind of like written out as a way to sort of, I don't know, distract myself from in the moment and sort of improve my mood. But yeah, it's very much about our kind of our own demons, our own mental health issues.
Yeah, at least it was in the privacy of your home. 10 years ago, I had a panic attack at a fat food restaurant, and
Really?
it wasn't fun. I'm like, why here? But it happens. But yeah, that song is great. Yeah, you don't ever know when that happens. And the first single or video is Cold Wave Divides Us, which is the name of the album. And that one, I really enjoyed it because at least visually, the music video, I think it was all about how we're destroying the earth.
Yes, yeah. That was the kind of idea behind the video. And the funny thing about it is it was all AI generated, and yet the theme of the music video is about AI sort of integrating into nature and slowly taking over the world, like in the Terminator movies, you know.
I've been talking lately all about this, about the Terminator movies and the Matrix, and it seems people did not, the 80s gave us the blueprint to survival, and we're just throwing it away, and now everything is AI, and there's some benefits to it. My logo for the channel is AI, so I can't complain. But yeah, I think the music video is gorgeous, and the song, and this album, you know, I think there's many themes that you cover in this album, like especially the name of the album, Cold Wave Divides Us. What does that mean?
Rowan, do you want to take this one?
Well, actually, I've been thinking about when we did the interview the other day, and you were talking about lyrically what went in, you know, what that meant for you, and so basically, Cold Waves Divide the Morning was a working title for it. Cold Waves Divide Us was an evolution. I don't write the lyrics, Liz writes them, but occasionally working titles stick. And Cold Waves Divide Whatever is essentially like a kind of, for me, a kind of side hustle bit of bullshit.
Yeah, I think we lost Rowan for a moment there.
The second thing is to Cold Waves.
Yes.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
My internet's shite because a tree fell down on the table at the back, so it will be intermittent. So yeah, anyway, In the Morning and Cold Waves are separate pieces of prose from the band, but they were working titles for the music that kind of evolved out of that. So Cold Waves, for me, was about the sometimes, you know, these massive divisions in relationships, a breakdown in that, and the things that are so kind of monumental that you can't necessarily overcome them. Can you overcome them? I don't know. That's, sorry, fucking cat. That's where that was born out of. But Liz summed up her lyrics in another interview really, really well, that pretty much captured what I was trying to say, can't articulate. Yeah.
No, I think I think you pretty much, you know, hit the nail on the head. I think that song in particular, and a lot of the theme on the album is about relationships breaking down, fundamental differences between people, relationships that can't be salvaged, and kind of a realization of that. And I think there's points on that album where that comes across quite angrily, like in I Am Wrong, the most recent single, and then there's other songs where there's almost a defeated feeling, more so like in the last song, Mute. But it's all kind of, it's all kind of going on a journey, the album, with different sort of emotions rearing their heads at various points.
Yeah,
are any of them nice emotions? Sorry, I just wanted to ask you that. Are there any nice emotions on this album?
Well, I never really.
This Avalanche is pretty nice.
From a personal place, I never really want to write, feel inspired to write when I'm happy. That's like my go-to when I'm feeling down or in a certain place. And that is, I mean, that's why it's cathartic. That's why it's a form of therapy, isn't it? So unfortunately, it just kind of gets the negative stuff. Lyrics.
You guys in your concerts, you gotta hand out the Kleenex. So so people can, but one song that's not yet a single, but if it's not a single, I think should be a single, is In This Avalanche. I think that song is great. It's very emotional song, and it has a lot of feeling to it. So yeah, that I In the Avalanche song, I think that's a great song, and very emotional. At least, what is that song about?
And that is probably one of the nicer moments in the album. I think it's
I think it's one of the nice moments.
Yeah, because there's a part on that I said that I feel it says something in the lyrics. I think I understood. It says like, I'm happy, like where I'm near you, or something like that. So I thought it was like a positive place on the album.
I think so. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's kind of like saying that the weight of the world is on you at times, but everything feels a little bit better. Everything feels more control, when I'm with you. So it's kind of like a little statement of, everything just feels better when you're around.
And you use the metaphor of the avalanche. Like, don't worry, all this snow is gonna fall on us.
Yeah, the avalanche is live, just.
I know. It's a great song, and it's like the fourth song that's on the album. And then you have an instrumental track on this record that, to me, divides the album really well. Like, I think it's like a nice breathing room, and a good way to segue to the first single that you released, or I think the second single, Monsters. So, was that a conscious decision to have like that in between the album, like a breather point, or like a dividing of the album?
Well, we were discussing this the other day, weren't we, guys, about how we pretty much ordered the tracks on the album based on the order that we wrote them in.
Oh.
So it actually just turns out that was bang in the middle of the writing process. The instrumental one came along, but yeah, it does work quite well.
Yeah, I think it's funny though, because like, yeah, we kind of, like Les was saying, we kind of arranged them in that way, like in the order that we wrote them. But when we were working on songs, like we were working on an album, so like we weren't like just kind of writing songs for the sake of it. We kind of did have like an eye to the bigger picture and to package it as this album in particular. So yeah, I think on some kind of like a subconscious level, I guess, like maybe after we wrote, or maybe after we worked on In This Avalanche, maybe we just were like, no, this was too happy. We need to like do something really, really intense and bring it back down. And I think, yeah, Point of Diminishing Returns is maybe how that manifested.
Yeah, I love the title of that. It's Point of Diminishing Returns. It's like preparing you, like everything from this point is gonna be downhill emotionally.
You know why it was actually called that though? It's because I was talking to a barista who worked in a coffee shop, and he was starting talking about how there's a point in the coffee making process called the point of diminishing return. And I was like, that's so cool, and it just like sounds so intense for like the actual reason behind it. So yeah, that's going to be a title.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that there was that for coffee. Now I know. Point of Diminishing Returns for coffee.
You were a barista for a while, Michael. Have you heard of that before in coffee?
In a past life, yes, I was. I was. Yeah. I guess so. I don't know. Like,
it sounds. I thought it sounded cool as fuck. So I was like,
I think like a lot of baristas, from experience, and myself included, are just hipsters that like to sound smart by saying stuff like Point of Diminishing Returns to impress girls that are ordering coffee from them. So that's been my experience.
So how do you guys as a band, because the sound of the band, I like it that you use the electronics and all of that. How much do you like using those electronic moments on the record?
Sorry, on you go, Rowan.
I was just going to say when it fits, I suppose. Like, I don't know about yous, but when I'm writing something or whatever, it's it's an idea that'll usually be like a wee guitar thing or whatever, or maybe a little piano line or something, and to kind of give it a bit more body or texture or whatever. That makes it sound like fucking hair, but flesh it out a wee bit to try and translate what's in here into something that makes some kind of fucking sense. So they go in and whatever synths I use, they're probably shite, so they get changed anyway to something good because Liz has got all the good plugins. That's kind of, for me, that's the purpose of them.
I think when we
have to stay,
I think we often write a melodic line, for example, and then we won't just be like, oh, right, well, we'll just keep it on guitar. We often play around with different instruments. So, for example, the song Cold Waves Divide Us, that was originally a piano line, which then got changed into this kind of 80s synthesizer. And then the same thing with Point of Diminishing Return, the song we were just talking about. The sort of main synth line that runs through most of the song was originally a vocal line. And then when I was just like, let's just see what that sounds like on the synth instead.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah.
Ended up replacing the vocal line.
I think if you listen to some of the demos, or like, no, not demos, but like early sort of, beginnings of a track and how different some of them sound to the finished track, that's probably the best indicator of how the synths and the electronic sounds kind of come to life, or how they evolve. And there's some tracks where very little gets changed, but usually it's kind of it's a nice kind of base to build from, I guess.
Yeah.
We do like to mess around with it quite a lot.
Yeah,
I think it's
that prog with electronics, like bands like in Australia, like Carnival and Dead Letter Circus do it really well. So yeah, when I heard you guys, I'm like, yeah, this is the sound of music that I really enjoy. Sorry, you were gonna say something, Michael.
No, it's all good, man. No, I was just going to kind of like follow on from what Liz and Rowan were saying, and basically it's probably something we were going to touch on eventually, but it's kind of related to what we were saying about, yeah, Liz is the singer, Rowan is the guitarist, and I'm the bassist. So when we're working on a track, it's Liz will write words because that's what she does, and Rowan will write a guitar part that she can then play live. And then, so basically, when I would get sent over a demo, there would be sometimes the demo would be very sort of basic ideas, or sometimes the idea might be quite developed. Maybe there is a guitar part, maybe there is like so yeah, like the song's a bit more developed. And for me, when I'm kind of looking at the songs and I'm kind of I'm meant to do my bit to it, then I would always prioritize the bass guitar because I need something to do on stage. But then after that, even after doing that, there's usually quite a lot of space left, and then sometimes, usually the kind of trifecta is like bass guitar and then synths or electronics and orchestral bits like pianos and strings and stuff. So I'd kind of look at a track and then be like, well, could maybe Liz and Rowan have added a lot of strings, so maybe I could look, maybe there's some space for electronics, or maybe they've put in a lot of electronics by the time it's gotten to me. Then maybe I could add like a string part or whatever. So I think that's kind of where the electronic stuff comes from. It's mostly just sort of, and then each of us, even though we can all write synth parts and we can all do sound design and we can all write orchestral parts, we have access to different materials, we have different approaches, we have different influences. So even though the three of us are doing the same thing, we're all coming at it from quite different angles. So I think that's how, even though it's the same three elements, they always kind of manifest in quite different ways, which is probably why it kind of gives a lot of the variety in the album probably comes from that, I think.
Yeah, that's a good explanation. Yeah. So I'm very curious for you guys, like personally, like what bands inspired you for the sound? Because I'm sure like every one of you will have a different answer. Michael has a Slicer shirt, and they're
oh yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, for me, so sorry, on you go, Liz.
I was just gonna say that, like, way back in the olden days when we started the band, the influence was very post-rocky. I would say, like, at that time, I was listening to a lot of Sigur Rós and a lot of
Fucking Frames. You
Whatever.
listen to the Frames non-stop for about 2
Right.
years.
But the start of Midas Fall was also around the start of me getting into post-rock. So I think there was definitely that influence there. But over the years, musical tastes have developed and stuff, and everyone's got different tastes. I think Michael and Rowan are generally into like heavier, more metal music than me. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he's got the Puper Slicer shirt, so that's very
Yeah.
they're very
Whereas
metal.
well,
I like a lot more almost like neoclassical stuff like Oliver Arnold, you know, that sort of nice strings and ambient stuff. So I think we're kind of a blend of, you know, quite different genres and influences.
yeah, I think
To a lot of Emma Ruth Rundle, Chelsea Wolfe, Phoebe Bridgers, and Taylor Swift. Made it album for me.
That's very eclectic, and that new Chelsea Wolfe album is amazing record.
I
It
just
is very
listened
good.
to it
I've
today.
listened
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is an amazing record. It's one of my favorite records out this year so far, and it's very based in that electronic area. Very. I did a review with a friend of mine, and it's like a Portishead meets PJ Harvey.
That's a very good way of putting it, man. Yeah, yeah.
That would be like our dream support situation, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we try our best. Us music reviewer, I don't play music, but I try to describe it as best as I can.
No, did very well, Hector.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good to see, you know, that you guys have different influences, and it makes the sound of Midas Fall. And I like it because I think every song has something different, and there's some heavy parts on the record too. It's not all like when you get heavier, but it's heavier, like I said, emotionally, but also some heavier parts, especially on some tracks from the record, especially in the I Am Wrong, Salt. And another song that I really enjoyed a lot is In the Morning Will Be Someone Else. I thought that's a great title. I thought that maybe if you didn't name that album Cold Waves Divide Us, I thought that should have been a name of a record too, because it's so good. What's that one about, Liz?
Well, that is the oldest song on the album that me and Rowan have been playing about with for years and years.
In the Morning.
In the Morning has been on the go since just after we finished Evaporate.
No, it was Salt was first. Then it was In the Morning.
Well, I kind of see them as being around the same time, but we've been playing that as an intro at our live shows for years. And we've always kind of seen it as kind of like an intro because it's just like a sort of song that builds and builds and builds. So it felt right to put that as the first song on the album, I think, as well. But yeah, I mean, Rowan was kind of instrumental to the sort of birth of that song. So I'll let you say what it's about.
Okay. So as what I was saying before is In the Morning Will Be Someone Else is don't start biting me, you little bastard. Sorry. Is a separate fucking bit of poetry, actually.
Upset her.
She's a shite bag. She's been at this for days. I need to get her a new catnip toy.
That's why I'm a dog person, because cats will fucking kill you in your sleep if you let them.
She has a pop at me every night. And I think she's just dissatisfied when I go to my bed. She's like, nah, you're not going to sleep yet. I'm going to bite you. So she started early tonight. But anyway, yeah, so In the Morning is a separate piece of writing. And the title that's with this bit of writing is essentially, for me, it was about the different faces that we put that we attach to ourselves and that we also attach to others, to try to mold ourselves into an existence that we know isn't fundamentally right, but it's in some way what we need, and that kind of discordant cognitive dissonance, I guess, between knowing that the existence you lead is shite, but you can't find it in yourself to extricate yourself from it until the shit hits the fan. So that's what that's about for me, more or less.
That's a very good
I like that
explanation
cool.
of the song. I like it as well. So I want to show the artwork of the record, which I like as well. Here it is for Midas Fall, Cold Waves Dividers.
There it is.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool looking artwork.
Yes.
Yeah. How did you guys decide on this artwork in particular?
So the artwork's done by actually the ex-drummer of the band, who, when we lived down in England, he drummed with us for quite a few years, and now he works as a graphic designer. So he's been doing all the artwork for us. It's pretty bad to say that I wanted a tattoo of a jellyfish. So I was like, can you design a cover with a cool jellyfish on it? And
So
then I can get it tattooed on me.
Oh, that's a cool looking tattoo.
It's the same jellyfish.
Let me see it now, because I couldn't see it because I was watching. Oh, yeah, that's a cool looking tattoo of the jellyfish. Is it because, let me see if I can, because jellyfish are like lovely, but they can sting you and it can hurt as fuck. Just like this album. It's lovely, but it can hurt you emotionally.
But yes, yeah. And I think there's kind of like a lot of, I don't know, almost like nautical theme and feelings to the album. It's like, we live on the coast, and do you think that is kind of an influence in some of the music as well? I certainly write about it quite a lot lyrically, so did want something like sea related as the artwork.
Yeah.
Like the guitar stuff for Mute, that was a thing that kind of I wrote in my head while I was on a boat to the Outer Hebrides, and it stayed kind of rattling around for like about a week until I got back, and then was able to start translating that. And I was really glad that when I gave my half-baked idea to Liz and Michael, that it became the track that it is. But yeah, certainly that in itself was like absolutely nautical themed from its very beginning. But
we kind of went about it like, we want to make this song that makes you feel like you're seasick. You know, like you're on a boat and it's all in chaos, and it kind of builds and builds, and maybe you throw up at the end of that boat journey. But that was the kind of feeling behind the song.
That's what Celine Dion's song from Titanic used to do to me.
Yeah. To add to the,
that's a classic.
To add to
I know, I kid. It's a classic song. It's a classic song, but it's So the album, I think you could get the themes from it, but at least if you want to, like, when you want to write a happy song, just take a trip to Puerto Rico and go to the beach, and maybe you'll get like the happy tropical song for the band. But yeah, the record, it's great. It's out on March 8th. I'll put the link for people who want to pre-order the album. I've been listening to it for the last few weeks, and it's one of my favorite records that I listened to this year, because first of all, the lyrics are great. The music is awesome because you mix different genres, and there's a few songs there that could be singles as well that you haven't released. So what's next for Midas Fall now when you put out this record? Are there some tours? What are the next plans?
So I think in terms of the sort of near future, we've got some dates over in Germany. Nothing anywhere near you, I'm afraid. But yeah, we're kind of focusing on getting sort of European dates, playing in the UK just now. And then I guess when sort of the album's out, we're going to be looking at starting to write new music and hopefully not leave it as long this time between releases.
Yes.
A lot of things happen, but if you ever want to come to this neck of the woods, I know promoters here on the island, so I can send the information because yeah, we have like in a few weeks I'm gonna see the Ocean who's gonna play here.
Oh, nice.
They're a great band, you know, a lot of
Yeah.
post rock, prog, very solid band, and also a lot of the Ocean themes
Yes.
as well. So. So you guys are gonna tour Germany and probably write new music. So I want to thank you guys, you know, for taking some time to chat with me. And before I let you guys go, because it's pretty interesting, I like to ask people like, what are they currently listening to? I have an idea about Rowan because she did say a few current asks, but like Liz, is there something like anything currently that you're listening to that's not your band?
Well, I've been listening to lots of the new Chelsea Wolfe album, like you said. I've just bought a couple of new vinyls. So I've bought a Kate Bush one and a Fleetwood Mac one. So they are my most recent additions I've been listening to.
Nice. Yeah, I love Fleetwood Mac and all those artists as well. So what about you, Rowan? Yeah, you said Taylor Swift.
Yeah, why not?
That's Swift.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that.
No, you know what? I can't deny it as well. I think some of her song for Anti-Hero, I used that song for my divorce. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. You know, it's a funny song. And actually, when she drops her new album, I'm going to review it on the channel because yeah,
are you going to ask her for an interview?
No, I'm not huge enough to get an interview.
You should still try. It's worth a punt.
There you go.
I could try and yeah, I could ask her some riveting questions, but yeah, I'm going to review her album when it comes out because this is the Shield Dude on a Couch reviews. It doesn't say metal anywhere on the title because I like to talk about different types of music. So yeah, it's good to have different eclectic. And what about you, Michael? Because I know you like the heavier side.
I do like the heavier side, but I've actually been I've not really listened to a lot of heavy stuff recently. No, I'll tell a lie actually. I think the latest thing I've been kind of obsessed with isn't a metal band, but Burial, you know, the UK kind of garage producer, just released like a new EP, I guess, of all this kind of old, like kind of ravey sort of electronic dance music, which is kind of the other thing that I do. I'm like a techno producer as well as that, so that's kind of my background as well. But yeah, I've been listening to a lot of Burial. The Smile, that new Smile album that came out this year, I've been very, very into. And what else I've been listening to? I went to see Drab Majesty a few weeks ago, actually. So a lot of like Drab Majesty and depressing, like post-punk kind of stuff. So yeah, I think in terms of metal though, I think the thing I've been listening to most is Liturgy's album from last year. I absolutely love that. And this band that I only recently discovered called the Hears Collective. They do this kind of like really kind of power violence, like grindcore kind of stuff. That I was really into. Power violence, yeah, that's it. No, power violence.
Right. That sounds mega.
So, yeah, Liturgy, Burial. Yeah.
That's a nice thing. So I'm gonna it's very good to talk with people and see what they like because like a lot of people think that people, especially there's some metalheads that are like, oh, you can only listen to many stuff. I listen to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I listen, I was born in an island. Like I have to listen to Bob Marley when I go to the beach. Like I'm not gonna be listening to something like depressing when I'm in that vibe. So it's all about the mood. So but it's the album, I recommend the album.
You do listen to depressing music.
I was in Jamaica last year and everywhere I went, all they did was play Bob Marley. I don't know if it was just for the tourists, but I've had my fill of Bob Marley for my life now.
It's for the tourist. It's
Maybe
for
that's not the kind of beach where you pull a Virginia Wolf.
yeah. But if you come here to Puerto Rico, you're not gonna listen to Bob Marley on the beach. You listen to reggaeton, especially
Oh yeah.
like Bad Bunny every day. Like that's what it's played here on the beach, or some salsa music. But we have a thriving metal scene here. So yeah, so metal is here, welcome, and electronic music is big here as well. So I know we've been chatting a while, and it's late where you guys are, but it's been great chatting with you. At least your house looks, the space you're in looks amazing. It looks like a mini studio.
This is where we made the album.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is basically Midas Fall recording HQ.
Nice. Sometimes it sounds great. It doesn't matter where it's recorded. It's just as long as it sounds great. So you're putting this out in vinyl, CDs. I'll put the links for people who want to pre-order this. Will you have like a album release show?
We've not specifically arranged a release show. I think just the dates we're doing in April and May are just going to be our sort of album release dates.
Aye.
Awesome.
Maybe we should go to the pub or
We
something.
should go to the pub on the 8th.
Yeah, that'll do.
At least have a little toast.
Yeah, you should. You totally should. If I was over there, I would totally go see you guys live, because I think I subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I saw your performances in some of the places, and it's all about the live performance. And so, at least for me, I like listening to records, but music live, it's just it hits you differently when it's live.
I think we are heavier live as well. That's what people tell us.
Yeah, a lot.
That's a compliment, because it would suck if they tell you like, wow, you're so heavy in the record, but so soft live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, at the last live show we did in Glasgow in December,
I know
at the end, at the end of the show, this guy came up to me and that was frightening. And I was like,
He told you that was great?
I said, that was frightening. And I was like, what? And he said, I was frightened. And I was like, okay. I've never had that response from a show before. He was like, yeah, it was really unsettling. I felt quite frightened, quite scared. I was like, okay.
For
Well, I hope that person never goes to like a super black metal show where they
I know.
animals and shit at you.
Yeah. Like, this is not a Satanic Panic gig. It's not like that. But he was suitably frightened anyway at the end of it. So yeah, I think every live show gives you something different, and in some instances it will give you fear. So there you go.
Yeah, I didn't get frightening from your record. I got a lot of heavy emotional records. So when this comes out, I'll do a review of the album before it comes out, and I'll post it on the channel. So more people can know about Midas Fall, because great band that I think needs more people to talk about them. So I'll do that for the band, because I really enjoyed this album. And obviously now that I know more about the stories behind it, it's interesting to know the background. So people, Midas Fall, the album is out on March 8th. Go get it. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.